Restore Thrive, we're back here talking today about the foot and ankle, knee pain, running, just all the junk that happens in your lower body that makes it hard for you to run, and offering a couple solutions that might help you run pain-free. So a little background on this. This is something that I developed with the help of one of my colleagues when I was having some knee pain in the front of my knee as I was training for my last Spartan race. And so basically it was just this hotness around this ligament that attaches the kneecap to the front of your shin bone, your tibia. So people commonly call this the patellar tendon, but we know that it's not a tendon because tendon attaches muscle to bone, and this is attaching bone to bone. So I call this the patellar ligament. Anyway, when this gets a little bit hot and sore, or this back or top part of the kneecap gets sore, a lot of times it's because of how your foot makes contact with the ground. So just a quick primer here. Say this is your running shoe. The middle of your heel touches the ground. You can forward flex your foot and get your big toe down on the ground. If for any reason your heel, the outside of your heel hits the ground, instead of that big toe getting down, you add rotation as you come forward and you slam the inside of your foot down. So if we look at the bottom of your shoe and we see the outside of the heel is worn down or the inside of the ball of the foot is worn down, we know that foot is rotating. People call this overpronating, but a lot of times this can be just because the foot is unstable or stiff and always lands in this position where the heel, the outside of the heel, hits the ground. So if we look at the heel bone, what we should see is that it has a certain amount of play in two directions, kind of up and down. If I have my foot at this angle, or if we're looking at it straight ahead, it moves in a little bit and out a little bit. So if we're a little bit stiff, as we try to bend this heel out, we end up striking the outside of the heel every time that we hit the ground with our foot. So this simple mobilization here is what we call a calcaneal mobilization. So the calcaneus is your heel bone. What you're going to do is you're going to pull your foot up with one hand. You're going to take your other hand and put it right on that heel bone. We want the ankle supported, but this heel should have a little space below it, because what I'm going to do is try to snap my heel bone off of my ankle here. So you can see I'm putting all of my weight into the heel and pushing down until I start to feel this move a little bit. This could take 20 reps, could take 30 reps, could take 50 reps. We want to stay at it until this starts to move a little bit better. Once we have that motion back in the heel where it has a little play in both directions, now we want to teach the lower body how to stabilize that foot and keep that knee in good position when our foot hits the ground. So what we're going to do is come over here. We're going to take any sort of band we can wrap around knee height. We're going to put our foot in the band so it's coming around the outside of the knee. So the direction of this force is going to collapse you into this crappy foot position where that ball of the foot's hammering the ground, the arch is collapsed, and the knee is inside the hip. We're going to make you fight against that and then get you out into a stride stance here. So we're going to put our free leg behind us. We're going to put some tension in the band. I'm driving my knee out so the middle of the knee is in line with the middle of the ankle. And then I'm going to start to do a little bit of reaching. I'm going to reach in three directions. I can reach forward and touch the ground with both hands. I can reach out to my right and touch with that hand, or I can reach across with my other hand. And in any of those three positions, if I look down, the middle of my knee still needs to be in line with the middle of my ankle. My arch needs to be up, big toe is down, ball of the foot is down, and my heel stays down the whole time. So we're going to do that until we start to feel some fatigue in the outside of the hip, or a little bit even in the quad here. If you're really weak through your foot, you may even start to get a little bit of cramping through your foot. If you don't feel that fatigue setting into your foot, or you have a hard time getting the feel for it, getting your big toe and your foot down on the ground, we can use this floss band. If you come a little closer here, what we can do is wrap this around our foot. I'm going from the inside of my arch, wrapping around, and I'm actually going to accentuate this fault of my foot being turned out as I hit the ground. So I'm going to pull up across the inside of my arch and just wrap that around my foot, back and forth, until I put myself into a really overly what we call supinated position. So we have a lot of arch through the foot here. And then get back in the band around the knee. Now I'm just easily hanging out on the outside of my foot. So I've got to fight to put my foot down, not let that band pull my foot out, keep that big toe and ball of the foot on the ground, keep my heel on the ground there, and then go through this same reach progression here. Okay? Again, work to that point of fatigue. Once you've worked that over a couple times, what you'll start to find is when you go out and run, you'll feel a little more stable when your foot hits the ground there. We'll talk to you guys again soon. Thanks for tuning in.